Welcome to Brand You.
The ultimate personal branding podcast.
I'm Kaz Grant.
And I'm Toby Lee.
Together, we're here to help demystify personal branding
and to make it accessible and effective for everyone.
Follow along as we guide you through creating your own personal branding journeys.
So, let's get started.
Let's brand you. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Brand New podcast. So last week we were talking about how personal branding can help with career advancement. Now this week we're going to be talking to you all about how to blend in person with the online personal branding world to create maximum results for your personal brands.
This is really important because there's no point putting all that energy into creating an amazing online presence if then you turn up when you're really shy or you're not in line with who you're making out to be online. And vice versa as well. Like, it's, you know, if you know you are slightly quieter or more timid or you're really out there, use that to inspire how you communicate online as well. So you can kind of use both, can't you, to kind of help each other and align those. But it's important to do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is kind of like a good episode for us to do because we are online, but we're also out and about quite a lot, aren't we? So we know how like beneficial it can be to have both going on. And also we are, well, people say it all the time, don't they? Who we are online is who they meet in person. Yeah. And that's what we're going to want to try and get across at the start of this podcast, isn't it? To tell people that you need to align both your, I think what I'm trying to say, I guess with online sometimes you can create an almost fake version and something that's maybe not quite accurate.
Yeah.
But then that's dangerous if you're going to be meeting people in person.
Yeah.
Because they're going to know and there's going to be that disconnect.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to do while blending in person with online is just maximize that trust, aren't you? Maximize the credibility, maximize the relatability with people. So if there's that disconnect, then that trust is going to be broken instantly, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all too easy to kind of create a heightened impression online because, you know, you're reaching people that haven't met you and that you have a way of contacting them in their own home, in their own space environment. You can tell them anything you want. So actually, if you wanted to bluff your way to a personal brand, you absolutely could, but it's really not going to help you when people do meet you in person, is it? They're going to instantly go, that's not the person I thought they were online, you know?
Yeah. And it's weird, isn't it? Because I think there'll be lots of people out there thinking, well, you know, I like online.
Yeah.
There's two camps, isn't there? There's those that hate online.
Yeah.
And you will never see them online. And then there's the other camp that are like, online is my safe space. I don't need to then communicate in person. I don't need to meet people. I don't need to go out of the house. Yeah. So actually it's thinking if you're one of those people that hides behind your online personal brand, like you might be missing out on so many opportunities. And again, that trust building faster and quicker and easier if you get out of your comfort zone, you get out from behind your screens and you step into the in-person world as well. So I think one of the first things that people can do when they're thinking about stepping in person with their personal brands as well, and from behind the computer screens, going to maybe like in-person networking events, things like that, is to be aligning the messaging. So obviously we've got clear in previous episodes of the Brand New podcast. If they haven't yet, then go back and listen to them. But you're clear on your messaging. You know what you have to offer the world. You know what value you have to give. And you know the target audience that you want to connect with and also resonate with. So then in person, when you go there, you can align that messaging as well. So most networking events will have some form, won't they, of like introduction piece.
Yeah.
Like that Lincoln Business Club. We both go to that, don't we?
You get that chance to kind of, 10 seconds or whatever, summarize yourself in a nutshell.
Yeah. And then maybe a bit more around the table or something. So those are the times where you can really get like your messaging of what you can offer the world really clear, can't you? So again, that aligns with what you've put online and on your LinkedIn maybe and on all your profiles. You can then share that snippet in person as well. And then really it's choosing, I guess, the people in the room then that are most like your target audience as well. So networking, I mean, when we think of like something like Lincoln Business Club, for example, I use that as an example because we both go to that club. We're both on the committee there, but also it's a big club, isn't it?
Yeah.
We get nearly like 90 people there
Yeah.
every single month. So 90, going into a networking event and thinking I must speak to 90 people is like, you're not going to do it, are you? So you're going to have to go there, and when people are introducing themselves around the room, look out for those key people that are sort of like your ideal audience.
Yeah.
And make a beeline when you're going for the coffee to go over to them and approach them.
Yeah.
And when approaching people at networking, I mean, we've got another episode on networking coming in the new year, haven't we? So I won't go too deep into it. But I think when we're talking about messaging, again, we're not going to go up to those people then and go, hi, I'm Catherine Kirk and I help blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You've got to make that connection first, haven't you? And you've
Yeah.
got to just speak to them like human beings.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing about kind of trying to get that patter down of your initial introduction is really important, because there are a lot of people that I've met and not realized I am already connected with them online, or we might have already had conversations and discussions, but because they've introduced themselves and what they do completely differently. Or how many people have you met and you kind of come away going, I still don't know what they do. Like, they've told me 5 times now that I've met them and still don't really get it. So
Yeah.
trying to be really clear with that, and like you say, align that to what
Yeah.
you're telling people online as well. Because the
Yeah.
chances are you're probably clearer online because you've taken a bit more time to think about it, write it down, you know,
Less
might have
nervous.
supportive imagery, less nervous,
Yeah.
not thinking too much about who it is that's stood there listening to you, because you're just putting it out there through a screen. But it's trying to keep that kind of composure, same wording, same sort of idea coming across, like that kind of same sense of you as well, isn't it? That personality that goes through it. That's your time to add that layer on, because people don't necessarily get that through the online side. Maybe.
Yeah. Again, it's making you that 3D version. Like it's humanizing you so much that you are a human. It's making the online version of you real and like in a physical form next to them, saying exactly what they would say online, giving them the same personality, same humor, the same like everything as online, to build that credibility and trust up with that other human. And I think it's really good that we can be really nervous, can't we, when we go into in-person things. And I think, again, this is one of those things where I'd say that you just need to practice. So don't get too in your head about, I must get everything perfect on day one when you step into that networking room. Yes, over time, we're going to align everything and everything's going to get coherent. But day one is like your practice, really, isn't it? Day one is like, you are going to be nervous. You're going to be out of your comfort zone. You're going to be stepping into a world where there's lots of other business people and we don't feel worthy and all of this. And what will come out of your mouth will potentially be mostly gibberish, possibly, especially if you've never been networking before and it's a bigger meeting. And the amount of people I see stand up and they're like so nervous about doing that instant, like, you know, your name and where do you work? They're so scared. Like, let's just take the pressure off, first of all, with that. Your messaging will become coherent. Everything will align over time. So meeting 1, you'll be a bit scared and nervous. It might not sound great. Meeting 10, meeting 20, meeting 100, you'll have honed it. You'll be less nervous, less frightened. So,
and why is that? Is that because we think we need to make an impression, because we can see the response it's going to have live instantly? But when I introduce myself to you, say we've gone for like a one-to-one coffee, we've met on LinkedIn, like, I need to follow that up, that impression I've already started, or that relationship I've started building. Is it because we just sort of see that reaction there and then, as opposed to when we're constantly making first impressions online, but we probably don't, we're more confident about that because we're not seeing the response the other person's having? Do you understand what I mean?
It's easier behind a screen, isn't it? You haven't got that. You're not going to disappoint anyone. You're not going to say the wrong thing and get that reaction from them like instantly. There is that safety net with that online space, isn't there? And so again, it's scary going into the in-person world, because you have got another human in front of you, but potentially 10 other humans in front of you. Like, and we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect and to be amazing and to be this persona that we want to be, that we just crumble when we're putting. So take all of the pressure off our shoulders. I can tell you one thing, that every time I get nervous to speak, and it will happen at every single networking meeting, every single time. That mic gets passed to me, and all I've been thinking about the moment before is not what Barbara next to me has said.
Yeah.
What is my name and where do I come from?
Yeah.
What is my name and where do I come from?
If
What
you
is my
forget
name?
those, that will be very embarrassing.
Yeah.
But you know, and when have you ever forgotten those? For some reason, your head just plays tricks on you, doesn't it? Your mind goes,
Exactly.
"Gonna trip you up here.
Gonna trip you up
You're
here.
careful."
What is your name?
Yeah.
Where do you work? It's the craziest thing. But just know that every other person in that room,
Yeah.
maybe one or two people that have been doing this for 20 years and they're okay with it, every other person in that room is feeling exactly the same as you are.
Yeah.
And literally, it does not matter if you are nervous or if you do muck it up a little bit. Nobody will care or think any less of you. In fact, one of the things that I think about when I see a nervous person is I'm just sending them so much support, so much love. I'm just like, you've got this, you've got this. And I think that's the thing with in-person events like networking. Everybody's there to make connections themselves, but everybody's there to have everybody else's backs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of collaboration, isn't there? There's a lot of support. There's a lot of cheering each other along, because you want other businesses and other people in the local area to succeed as well as you succeeding.
Yeah.
So if you think that nobody in that room is judging you, everybody is there to support you and cheer you along, that just gives you a little bit of like, okay, that's like the pressure is off my shoulders a little bit. I don't have to be perfect. Everybody's cheering me along. No one's going to judge me. No one's going to throw paint or tomatoes or eggs at me.
Well,
maybe.
if they do, it's probably not the right place for you anyways.
Yeah, that's not your meeting.
If you sort of know you're going to an event as well, it's really important to try and start those connections and communications early. If you sort of know somebody might be going that you get a chance to meet, or if you or just get in the habit of like starting conversations with people online through LinkedIn or wherever it may be, so that when you do bump into people, you've already got some sort of rapport or some sort of conversation started. That relationship's already, you know, the groundwork's been put in there. That makes it so much easier, because there's nothing worse than turning up to, let's say, a group environment and you look around and you think, I don't know anyone here. But if you kind of go, well, I have connected with that person, but we've never actually met, that's a great opportunity to go straight over there, introduce yourself, and even if they don't remember you, it's still, you know, a starting point, isn't it?
Yeah. And what did they post about the other day? Like, did they go to another meeting? Was their dog wearing a Christmas hat in front of a tree or something, whatever it is? Like, you can then go in there and you're like, oh, I know we've connected on LinkedIn. I saw your post the other day about blah, blah, blah. How's your dog doing? Does your dog destroy the tree? Does he like the tree? Does it, you know, there's that in already.
Conversation starters, aren't
they? As the conversation starters. And I think that's what's really good about the online world. And I think that's what I really love about me building a personal brand. I've been new to the area. I've been new to Lincoln. I've been new to all of these groups, but I've gone in, and because I've created online personal brand and then obviously the connections online, I'll go into a meeting and people will come over to me and they'll start those conversations with me because they've seen my post about blah, blah. And again, it's like, oh, I don't have to go and start the conversations. People are already starting them because of the personal brand, and they feel comfortable enough to approach me because of that. And you as well. Like,
I find that as a lot as well. And it's always when people say, you know, oh, you're really busy at the moment. Oh, you're here, there, and everywhere. And I kind of think, well, yeah, I guess I am, you know, busy, but I won't say like, you know, over the top busy, but because I'm letting people know where I am when I am on a job and when I'm in the studio, when I'm editing at home, or you know, even down to personal activities as well. So whether it's like running a marathon or whatever, people think I'm absolutely, you know, running a marathon every day, and that's not the case. You know, I posted about it once, but you know, it's the thing that sticks in people's minds. So yeah, it's interesting what we do remember of people's content as well, isn't it? But yeah, it's a nice conversation.
And don't you find as well, though, like, if you're going to be working with someone, or you're going to want someone to do a certain service for you or something like that, you want to go to the people that are busy, because you're like, well, they're almost like oversubscribed, aren't they? Like people trust them to do work. Like, they've got lots on. Like, I want to go to them. So again, you're creating that. You're the person to go to. You're the person to be. So people in person then are going to go and make a beeline for you and connect with you because they want to work with you. So yeah, I guess it's that your personal brand online is those door openers, and then when you go in person, that's where the attractions will start to come through. You can get messages online and you can build relationships online, absolutely, but there's nothing like in person meetings to get shit done as well, like to move a project along, to get stuff done, to get in the door with someone, to start working with them. There's nothing like in person, is there? I think when we're creating a personal brand and we're actually wanting to gain things from our personal brand, I think the key is, whether that's online or in person, the fortune is in the follow-up. So we do the connecting, we speak to the people, but we've got to keep that going, because nobody does business with or buys from you or anything on the first touch point, do they? Like, you need multiple touch points before anybody's going to have what you need, come to you for that product, whatever it is, whatever it is. So you need to keep following up with people. I think a good way of doing that in person is we go to the in-person meetings, but then we plug them into our online vortex. So you expand your network at the meeting, get them on your LinkedIn, scan the QR code on LinkedIn, get them in your online space, and then you can tag them and mention them as well in posts, can't you?
Yeah, and that always feels like a nice moment. I like getting tagged in things, so kind of things like, oh, I've been thought of. You know, it's nice, isn't it? Like, it's a real easy, free way to kind of, win people over a bit more, isn't it? Buy that trust a little bit. There's nothing like being, well, I guess we all just want to be included in things, don't we? So when we are tagged in something, somebody's post and they're saying they had a great time with you at this event or whatever, it's great, and it creates something for you both to be sharing as well.
Yeah. What's that saying? We're all walking around with a visible sign on our forehead saying, "Make me feel special." And we're all doing it. So again, it's like, if you could personally mention someone, or again, say that you've had a great time, a great meeting with them, one-to-one at a networking event, whatever that might be, they are going to feel really special, aren't they, and valued?
Yeah, and even with those follow-up things, say you've been for a one-to-one meeting with someone, if they've thrown something out there like, oh, completely separate to what you've been talking about, but oh yeah, no, our toilet's broken or something. If you're looking for something to reach out to them or follow up going, oh, my friend's a plumber, or we used this guy recently, give him a go. It can be something off topic, but it just, a couple of days after the event or the meeting, just puts you back on their radar, lets you know that I thought of you today because I saw a van go past and a plumber number on the side. Do you know what I mean? It could be something as small as that, or it could be something really relevant to what you were talking about. But it's just trying to not be afraid to just keep those conversations going. And if you're letting people know you're thinking of them, it goes a real long way, doesn't it? To building that.
And you're helping them out. So you're not you by your services physically, but you are referring them on to someone else. You're helping the other businesses that you're connecting with at these networking events and online. You're also helping that person in another way alleviate some form of life stress or something. And how nice is that? Again, if you're the connector or the collaborator, I think there's power in that when you can start networking as well. Being that person that connects people to the right people and offers the support that people need.
And I think people, because I know some people might be slightly afraid, not afraid, that's too strong a word, but slightly timid to tag someone they've only just met. But just know that it's a nice feeling. Like no one's ever offended for being tagged in a certain post or whatever. So say you read a book from by an author or something, tag the author. The chances are, if they share that, that's going to be a nice exposure for you. But even if they don't, at least you're then bringing other people into your circle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Tag us anytime. If we're available for tagging.
Free tag.
But why wouldn't you want to get tagged or mentioned? Because again, it's opening up your personal brand's reach. And again, with these sort of things, it's that collaboration, it's that mixing of stuff. It's a nice feeling, isn't it, when you can give back to other people as well.
And it's also really handy to find people. So if you were at an event and someone's tagged you as being there, and I didn't get the chance to talk to you, and I don't know, or I did get the chance to talk to you, we had a great conversation, but I didn't catch your name. If I see you tagged in there, then I can make that connection. So it is really important for that. Just keep that's the spider's web. Just keep putting little bits out.
Definitely, and for remembering names, that is such a good one, because I mean, well, we meet so many people all the time, don't we? There's a lot of people, like, you can't always remember that many people. So again, if you meet in person, but then they're plugged into your online world, you've always got that to go back to, haven't you? Like you say, the tagging as well, that was them.
And as well as tagging, it's letting people know that you've been to this event or that you had a coffee with this person, because you're kind of cashing in on each other's circles and communities, or the interest in the event online that you've been to. If you don't kind of let people know you've been there by, sharing some photos or some reels, or if you can go live, if you're happy to do that and do it, I know you're very good at that. Like I get to kind of delve into that realm of things, but it's just a great way of getting content out there, but also keeping that influence going. And this episode is about talking about how do we bring the online and the in-person together. It kind of, if you can photograph yourself in that setting, it proves that you are the person you say you are online, for those that haven't met you yet.
Yeah, and a lot of the events are like leading industry events. Like people are going there to expand their knowledge on their area of expertise and things. If you're seen at those events, like again, it's just that credibility side of things. Like, oh, they know what they're talking about because they went to that seminar, they did that. Like you're gaining so much knowledge from these events over time. Like your audience then sees that, they're going to want to go to you because you're the one with all this knowledge, because you've been to all of these events. And again, you're piggybacking almost off of the event success as well. Like we are individual humans. Like we aren't going to get as much reach as such as a huge event will get, or a huge brand will get. So actually, if we can piggyback off of them a little bit, because we went there and we're going to share about their event too, again, that win-win, that collaboration, then we're going to get more reach and more views and more engagement because of their event as well. So it's really important to do that.
And if you're in the early days of building your personal brand and you haven't got many followers, it's going to be the quickest way as well, isn't it? Start getting people involved in your circle.
Yeah, definitely. I think so many people start personal branding and again, you start and you're not getting much traction, but then you're not posting consistently, you're not engaging with other people every single day, and then also you're not maximizing the events that you're going to. Like a lot of people are actually going to the in-person events already, but they're not blending that with their online world, so no one would know. So they've been to that event, they've benefited from that one event, maybe there's no ripples moving forward from them from that event. Like keep those ripples going and expand them further and further, because that is where the power lies, isn't it? I think the other thing as well that I really like about the in-person world of personal branding is the more you start putting yourself out there, the more opportunities for raising your profile will come along as well. So things like being invited on people's podcasts, being invited on radio shows, being invited to speak at industry events or other events that aren't quite related to your industry. Like lots of these kind of things will start coming along when you position yourself as that expert. Now, a lot of people might get some of those things and absolutely brick themselves. I'd be like, no, I cannot do public speaking. I can't do that. A podcast, no way. I'm not going on that. And I just want to, I guess, like ask people at this point to get brave and say yes to some of these opportunities that are going to come their way. Because if you can get speaking opportunities and podcast interviews and things like that, again, that is going to 10x your personal brand's credibility. It's going to bring you more to life than ever before. It's going to bring you more into that industry expert and that thought leader than ever before.
Gives you content to share.
Gives you content to share. Yeah, exactly. You're not having to create it all yourself. It's there. It's done for you. So yeah, it's just going to absolutely maximize your personal brand. But I know a lot of people would probably be put off building a personal brand in the first place because they maybe don't want to get those speaking opportunities, or they get the speaking opportunities and they say, no, I can't. And I just think you need to say yes and then figure the rest out as you go. Because I feel like that's been my tactic so far. If I've been given a speaking opportunity, everything in my head says, no, what the hell? But out of my mouth instead comes yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? How am I going to do it? What's
Yeah.
that going to be? Blah, blah, blah. All those other thoughts come in. But you can figure out the rest down the line. You say yes, you can speak to the organisers. What kind of theme is this going to be on? What do you want me to speak about? You can form the content side of it. You can get practicing. You can get more confidence along the way, can't you? You get friends and family to help hear you speak and to build that confidence up. So all that can be figured out later down the line.
And have confidence in the fact that you've been asked.
Yeah.
That kind of means like they've seen the potential that whatever content you put out there or things you talk about,
Yeah.
that's what they want. So like
Yeah.
you've already got that in the bag. It's more just the little chip on your shoulder that's going, you can't do this, is more just a confidence thing of realizing that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have been doing it already to get those opportunities through the door. I love that. Like, just you've been asked for a reason. Absolutely. Love that. So say yes to all opportunities that come your way, because you never know, especially at first. I mean, later down the line of your personal brand, you can be a bit more fussy and a bit more picky, and which ones will be better for your time, and which ones are maybe paid and which ones maybe aren't paid, and things like that. But at the start, I think just say yes to as much as you possibly can do, because you never know again what reputation that's going to build, and the ripples, how far they're going to reach from that. Right, guys, so today's action tip for you all then, that we share an action step every single podcast episode, so make sure you put these into place, is to go and find a local in-person networking event that you can go and try out. So move yourself from the online vortex into in-person meetings. Go and try the meeting, go and mingle with some people and see how you get on. Remember, you haven't got to be perfect on day one. This is just an exercise. Go find a meeting, see what they're all about. There's usually lots of local ones, and Google will probably help you find the best ones for you. You might not know if it's for you or not straight away. You might have to go to a few meetings to gauge if it's the right one for you or not. Just go and have fun and see where it leads.
So we look forward to hearing how you get on. Let us know on our LinkedIn community page, the Brand New Podcast. You can follow Kaz and I on LinkedIn to find that. And keep following on Spotify for new episodes dropping every week.
Here's to branding you.